Hello. My name is Jessica Churko. I have something exciting that I am starting up, and I was going to go live on Instagram tonight, but I'm an Instagram illiterate, so I'm just gonna treat this like a live and upload it, and then hopefully do more live videos in the future. But what I want to do today is to introduce my new fabric collection with Riley Blake. Let's see. I Let me start by telling you like a little bit about me, I guess, a little bit about my journey in design. So I started out designing in scrapbooking, and I worked in kind of the scrapbooking world for a few years, and it quickly morphed into just general crafting. And I worked for a big company for about 8 years, and we did all kinds of crafting supplies and paints and markers, and of course scrapbook paper, stickers, um, everything that you would like find at Hobby Lobby or Michael's. And we did work with Hobby Lobby or Michael's quite a bit. And I loved that job so much. It was the best. Um, I met so many amazing designers and just like cool people to know. And so I'm super grateful that I had that job experience. And I've just loved design forever. Like, even since I was a little kid, I've loved drawing and just like coming up with stuff and being creative. And like, I don't know, I was such a nerd in middle school. We had this geography teacher who would make us like freehand draw maps of, I think it was all the continents. I could be wrong. She may have made us do countries as well, but we had to freehand all the maps and like color them in. And like, at that point, I did not know that being an artist could be a career path whatsoever. But I just loved those assignments, and I think most of the other kids in my class really hated them, but I absolutely like lived for it. I would get so excited when she would like assign another one, and I would like get out my Crayola colored pencils and pick out my color palettes that I was going to use for my maps, and like get super excited about drawing like all the lakes and all the little like, I don't know, geographical features. Anyway, so I've always loved just doing design and being a designer and being creative. And so anyway, I've morphed into this craft world just almost by accident, just because it was popular scrapbooking when I first started out in design. And I learned about like making patterns and how amazing that could be and how to build a collection. And I worked with a lot of like buyers from different big box stores at the time, like, because that's pretty much who we worked with, was big box store buyers. And so I also, like, that was a huge, amazing blessing as well for me, because I got to figure out and like learn from all these buyers how things sell and like what sells and how to build collections and just pricing things and all this commercial experience that I would have never gotten if I had like not gone into that field. So I feel like it just prepared me for what I'm doing now, which is I freelance and I still do work with a lot of big box stores. That's my day job, and a lot of like fabric designers have a day job still. There's probably very few of us that don't. So this is like a side hustle, a passion. And yeah, how I got into designing fabric specifically is that, oh man, where do I even start? Well, my mom and my aunt owned a fabric store at one point in my life when I was really young. And so I've always been around sewing, quilting, all that kind of stuff. My grandma, my mom's mom was a big quilter. My dad's mom did a little bit of it, but was creative in her. I will say she is creative in her own way, and I love her. She's amazing. My mom's mom has since passed away, but we always lived near her, and so we grew up doing all this like sewing and crafting and quilting, and like she always had a quilt on the frame in her front room, and we would sit there and tie quilts, and like I don't know, she would show me the fabric that she purchased from stores, and like why she picked it, and like what patterns were gonna go with what, and like what she was gonna make with it. And so that kind of gave me like a little bit of a basis into that world. And then after I worked for kind of in between my big box experience working as a designer for retail, I worked at Riley Blake, and what would I have been called? Like, I think art director, probably. Anyway, doesn't matter. But I worked for Riley Blake Designs, not as a fabric designer, but on their like in-house design team. And man, I just grew to really love that company, and they're awesome, like great employers. I just have nothing to say but awesome things about them. And Cindy and Brett, the owners, are amazing people. And so I just had a really good experience in my job at Riley Blake. I would say the only kind of downside for me is that I'm a mom, and it was just getting a little bit hard to be a mom and work kind of, this is probably 45-minute drive from my house. And I don't know, it was just like not the right season of life. But I absolutely love Riley Blake. And so I had this freelance opportunity, decided to take it, and kind of knew that I still wanted to work with Riley Blake. And I thought, like, what better way than to design patterns? I already love doing this. And so it just felt like a natural fit for me to reach out to them. And after I left working for their in-house design team, reach out to them and start a fabric line. And so that's what we did. And it's been just awesome. I've loved it. So it's been over a year of work, and super fun work. Like, I have thoroughly enjoyed every minute of it. But I do have the fabric finally. It is shipping this month. It's May 2026 right now. But I just want to go through the collection and show you guys the fabrics and kind of talk about my patterns and my thought process behind all the designs. And yeah, just give you like some of the nitty-gritty of designing a quilting fabric collection. So I've debated whether to start or finish with this in a video for you guys, but like every fabric collection, I shouldn't say every because there's no absolutes, but most fabric collections, I would say, have like a main kind of anchor print. So this one is mine, and it is called, what did I name it? I can't remember what I named it, you guys. I'm just having a little brain fart. I wonder if it says on here. If not, then that's okay. Anyway, this is my hero print. So when I started designing this collection, I knew I wanted to do something that felt colorful, but also a little more soft and a little more feminine, a little more, just a tiny bit more sophisticated, but still cute. I kind of wanted to straddle all the lines between like cute and sophisticated and like soft and kind of grown up, but still colorful. Anyway, I think we did okay on that part of it, because I just absolutely think that this is so gorgeous. It turned out so pretty. And if you can see through my screen, I will say go to the store and try and find this in person in your local quilting fabric store, because I think it's just so yummy and the colors are just so like pretty and nice. And if you see, I've got a couple different greens going on in the leaves and like some kind of golden yellows and pinks, and then this like lighter blue color. And so I feel like this mane can coordinate back to a lot of other things. What else was I going to say? I am super in love with vintage fabrics and vintage prints, and so I take a lot of inspiration from that. So you can kind of see in the design style of some of these floral icons that I've made are very vintage feeling, like maybe a little bit grandma wallpapery, but in a good way. Like when I say grandma's house wallpaper, I think that's an amazing thing. Like I love that. So I don't consider that as a diss at all. Anyway, so yeah, just like very vintage roses. The collection is named Rosewood. And I wanted also to add like movement into it. And so we've got just kind of like some movement of the stems through the pattern, but also it cuts up really nicely. Like I think the scale of it, I worked with Cindy and Holly at Riley Blake to figure out the scale where like what would work best for a quilt block, and I think that we did a good job. And so anyway, yeah, I've got like these little blue accent flowers, and you'll see a little bit later, and I'll try to show you how I kind of carried some of this into the motifs into the rest of the collection. So this is my main print. It comes on cream, and it comes on a navy blue, kind of like a, what would you call this blue? Like a, kind of a grayish, like army sort of blue, like a navy blue. Maybe sort of a Payne's gray if you're into painting. It's just like a very kind of gray based navy blue color. And this may be my favorite print. It's hard to pick a favorite, but I do love this colorway with the navy blue. So that is this print in the navy. And then also, I do love this one too. I do think it is so pretty. We have this kind of evergreen pine. We're calling it woodland. I think it does coordinate back to some of the Riley Blake solids, and so it's just a really nice, like not quite forest, not quite emerald, sort of just like a woodsy green. Sorry, I keep holding it so that I can see it and admire it, and I'm trying to do it for the camera, so sorry y'all. Anyway, so that is that print on that woodland green color. And then we have the other main kind of motif that is a couple places in this besides the flowers would be my bows. And So I took inspiration like from vintage bows that you would find on like a Christmas present and made an illustration out of it. And then it's also got a very, very tiny little flower floating all through here so that it kind of ties back to all the other floral motifs in the collection. But we've got this on a pale pink, which how cute and sweet would this be on a baby blanket? And later in the video I do want to show a few combos, and I think this is not a baby collection, but I do think that there are some combos that you could use from this collection that would make just the sweetest and cutest little baby quilts. Or like, I don't know, what else do people do for babies nowadays? It's been so long since I've had a baby. But anyway, baby stuff. So that's that print. And then we also have it in this dark gray blue, and I think they call it Oxford. I mean, that is what the print color is called, is Oxford. So I think that is the name for this blue at Riley Blake, if you're looking to like coordinate back to some of their other basics. I do love this print as well, and how sweet also for a baby, like just these little cute bows. And they're quite small, like you can see my finger for scale maybe a little bit. They're quite small, so they do cut up really nicely into like a square. But we worked really hard on the repeat as well to make sure that there were no weird rivers, and so it works for all kinds of applications, because I think that the repeat came off really nicely in this one as well. So that one's on cream, and the next one is, yeah, I'll show this one. Also a favorite of mine. So I love like a gingham or a check or a plaid or something, especially to contrast with a flower. I think that it's really nice to have that geometric sort of element in a collection. If you're having a really floral heavy collection like mine is, then I do think that we need a good check, plaid, something to contrast with the floral in the shape, the style of the pattern. So anyway, this is I'm gonna call it a gingham pattern, and I don't know if this will show very well on camera. You can look at it in the store when you see it, or in real life, and it's so cute. I think I just love these little details and putting these little details into my fabrics. And like I said, I really don't know if it will show on the camera. Maybe it's picking it up from this close, but you can see there's like a little zigzag edge on there. And I did that intentionally because I wanted to have a check that wasn't just like your everyday run-of-the-mill. Like, I want it to look like a check when you first see it, but then like up close it has this cute little detail, and I did that intentionally. So there is the check, and this is in Dusty Rose. And the other check in Oxford, I believe we called this Oxford, yes. Oxford, super pretty tone-on-tone blue. And then also this super pretty tone-on-tone green, which I also think is beautiful. One thing about this collection is that it is coming out in sort of the season. It is May, but it's also the season when Christmas collections come out and everyone starts releasing all their Christmas fabric. And so as we get more into all these pieces, you'll kind of see maybe how this could also work in a Christmassy quilt. And maybe I'll talk about that a little more in just a second. I keep saying I'll talk about things a little more in just a second, and I hope I remember to go back and talk about everything that I remembered. Another thing that I think every collection needs is a cute dot. And so this is my dot. Also looks very tonal and very kind of just low contrast when you see it on the bolt. And so for that reason, I think it works great as a blender. And then when you get up close to it, you can see that there's little circles within circles. There's little outlines around the circle where the line is a little bit broken up. And so I think it just helps lend to that little vintage feel. Another thing about this dot is that we made it non-directional, which means that you could cut the fabric up or down, sideways or backwards ways, and use it so that you don't have to worry about the direction of the fabric, like which way it's going when you put together your quilt. That's for most of the patterns in this collection, except for the 2 geometrics that I have. So that is one thing that I do try to be really conscious of when I design for quilting, especially, is that quilters really like to have non-directional fabrics so that they don't have to worry if they cut out their quilt and sew a block together and then they realize that like one of their fabrics is turned upside down. I've done that before, and so yeah, it just makes life a lot easier when the pattern is not directional. So this is my dot. This one is on pink. And then we have the dot on Oxford. And we have the dot on Sage, and I do love this color as well. And I mean, it coordinates so cute with the woodland green color. But I do love this kind of lighter pastel-y kind of sage. Which coordinates back to like some of the leaves and stuff in the collection as well. And like I said, it just acts like a blender in there too. So I do love this one as well. I mean, I love all of them. I can't help it. Okay, my last other final geometric that I have in this collection. So this one is on pink. And again, it sort of looks maybe a little more solid when you see it from afar. And then when you get up closer to it, it is a check. And I also do love that it's just like slightly different than your basic check because it has that contrasting dot in the center of each little square. I felt like it just gave it that little extra specialness, like maybe somebody thought about this just a little bit more. And that's why I put that little tiny dot in there. Like I wanted this small scale check. I think it's really important. It helps tie the collection together, and I feel like for quilters, this is like a super easy fabric to use because it could just like tie back to so many things. It's not loud, it's not competing, it's a nice blender. And so that is my other check in the collection. And then we also did one on green, which I think turned out beautiful. And we did one on Oxford as well. No, I'm not live. My husband just came and asked me if I was live. I thought I was gonna go live But yeah, I don't know anything about Instagram, and so I'm Instagram illiterate and didn't know that I cannot go live on Instagram. What I'll probably end up doing is doing my lives on YouTube for a while until my Instagram following gets up to 1,000. I've done it before where I've got up over 1,000 followers on Instagram, so I'm sure I can do it with this account too. I did start a new Instagram. It's at Jessica Churko Design, and I have a personal one and a painting Instagram as well, but I wanted to kind of keep like my fine art ecosystem a little bit separate from my design ecosystem, and so it just seemed like the right move to separate them into different Instagram accounts. My fine art one is at Jessica Churko Fine Art, I believe. And so go give me a follow over there as well. I do love painting, and I don't know if you can see in the background, I have a couple of my paintings back here. But anyway, I love all the hobbies. It drives my husband crazy. Love you, honey. And I think he loves and loathes this about me, but like, I never met a hobby that I didn't want to try. So, I want to knit, I want to crochet, I want to paint, I want to sew, I want to quilt. What else have I done in my hobby world? I want to journal, I want to art journal, I want to like collect stickers, I want to make mugs where I put a sticker all over my mug. Shout out The Office, my favorite show. So anyway, tangent. This is the little mini check on Oxford. And then tough choice between these. I'm gonna talk about this one. So let me move a couple things here. Cute bows. Okay. So on Oxford again, I have this sweet little forget-me-not pattern. Another, I feel like, quite good blender, but it's maybe like a little bit more of a medium scale pattern, and so it's not as blendery of a blender as like this tiny check. So you pick up a little bit more of the pattern, and again, I don't know if this shows on the screen really super well, but in my main floral, I have a very small little motif running through it right here of this little tiny cluster of forget-me-nots. Forget-me-nots are one of my very favorites to like try and depict. And I love putting them in patterns because they're just so little cute, happy, little blue flowers. So forget-me-not here, and then I took that same forget-me-not motif and I carried it through into this sweet little pattern as well, and it's got kind of a little like sprinkling of a tiny dot in there in between too. So I love how this pattern turned out. I think it came out super nicely. Isn't that blue so pretty? I just think the blue is so especially gorgeous. I love it all, but I do have a little soft spot in my heart for the blue. Here it is we are calling this Dusty Rose, another gorgeous color, and this is like very unique in this collection because there's no other pattern on Dusty Rose, and it's kind of like the most deep red. We never really went into like the burgundies. This is kind of a happy little medium in between a lighter pink and a burgundy, and I just think it turned out so pretty. And this is like where maybe if you wanted to make a quilt that feels Christmas but is not quite Christmas, if you know what I mean, like it's not Santa and reindeer and presents, but like if you put it together with something like this, or really any of the like deeper greens like the plaid, I mean, I can see that as kind of a Christmas adjacent thing, and I have plans to make like a pine tree quilt. We'll see. We'll see if I can get that far. One thing about me is that I have like 5 million irons in the fire, and like, I mean, I'm up early, I'm up late every day. I don't know how I get any sleep at all, but I just love design, and so I'm always doing it, and I do love quilting. It's been a while since I made a quilt. Maybe I shouldn't admit that, but this fabric really makes me want to start quilting again. I actually have been quilting, but it's a slow project. It's an English paper piecing. It's just a real simple hexie quilt, but I've been working on it for like 3 years. So I have been quilting, I just haven't finished a quilt. So anyway, and then I also think that this is very beautiful and could also read as kind of a Christmassy thing with the little flowers, almost like snow color on that green background, which I think is really pretty. Could also read as like almost a spring print too. So yeah, I'm really happy that we also put this on that, we call this forest colorway background, because I think it just was like very needed in the collection to have that strong, beautiful, yummy, rich green in there. So I'm really excited to make some projects that are kind of just more in that green colorway too. I think that's gonna turn out really beautiful. And then my very last print is also one of my favorites. I mean, how do you pick a favorite, baby? But this is one of my favorites as well. And also one that looks sort of like maybe unassuming from the far away look at it, but then when you look up close, you show that up close to the camera, you can see that if you look back at my mane, again, I picked another couple of little florals out of this mane and made a coordinating print with these as well. The thing that I think is so cute about this print is that it's got the flower, but then I took and made a little outline of the flowers as well. And so it just kind of opens it up to just a nice little flow between. And also, like, one thing about me as a designer is that I love like a densely packed floral pattern. And so this was one way for me to make my densely packed floral pattern, but also kind of open it up with the outline of the flowers on there. So this one's in blue, and such also a unique color, just this like very dusty, almost gray kind of blue, with the pink flowers on it. And honestly could use as a blender or just like on its own in a project, because I think that one turned out just so pretty as well. Also have it, I believe this is on sage. Oh, it's on green. So here it is on green. And then it's got that little buttery, mustardy yellow on there with the white flower. And then last but not least is on pink, and it's got a burgundy / dusty rose on the pink with the white flowers. So yeah, super excited about this print as well. I really love this. I think this may have been the first print I designed in the collection. I'm not quite sure. I mean, after the main, because obviously I had the main, but I had the idea for this print like very early on, maybe even before I made the main. I really wanted to do this thing where I was having like a solid colored in flower and then an outline flower. So that is Rosewood, and I just am so excited about this collection. I am gonna try and do more videos like this where I'm just real and talking and kind of like stream of consciousness, and hopefully someday they will turn into Instagram lives and also lives on YouTube, because I think YouTube is going to be a little more conducive for what I want to do with social media and sharing my work with you guys. Let's see, what else can I say? I think for this video, that's it. If you've hung on this long, thank you so much. The collection is Rosewood. It's by Riley Blake Designs, and then I'm the designer, Jessica Churtko Design. You can find me on Instagram at Jessica Churtko Design. YouTube, I think, is Jessica Churtko Design as well. And then you guys, I'll figure out all this social media stuff. I'm just like, I want to design patterns, and my social media like literacy just has suffered because of it. But anyway, I'm okay with that. I want to be a great pattern designer, and YouTube and Instagram and all that stuff is just a way that I get to share it with y'all. So I'll figure it out. So anyway, yeah, YouTube, Instagram, jessicachurtko.com if you want to see some of my other work, some of my like past design work, and just like some more portfolio type things on my website right now. And yeah, give me a follow on YouTube and on Instagram, and I will have more videos for you all next time.